Good morning. Welcome to the Morning Touch. I'm Darwin Campbell. The Morning Touch is brought to you by the FSBC in Glendale for your encouragement. We hope that the words we have these moments will be encouraging to you. You know, over the past week, I had the opportunity to go into the hurricane-stricken region of southwest Louisiana, and some of the damage and the pain was evident in an area where everyone is close, where family still means something, where values and morality is strong, where people extend themselves to their neighbor. Such an area was stricken not once, but twice by devastating hurricane winds. Those winds literally changed the lives of thousands of people living along the shores who make their living uh, via the water, who in everyday life, very humble, loving people, friendly. South Louisiana is one of those places that grows on your heart when you're there. So the people of Lake Charles and Cameron and the people Lafayette and the surrounding areas all are hurting at this point. And you know, when I think about what's going on in this country, it's virtually being ignored. I know there was one lady who said, you know, it just seems like in this environment we have been forgotten. And that's a sad commentary on the United States of America, that we would forget our own, that we would not take time to focus and make those individuals whose lives have been impacted. And I know we all know the value of having our lives impacted. We've gone through COVID-19. We've gone through COVID-19. We know how that has stopped. We know how that has impacted. We know how that has hurt many people across this country. Here, they suffer not only COVID-19, but a double whammy. Why aren't we focused on that instead of the political hate? Why aren't we focused on reaching out, helping our neighbor, instead of firing volleys at one another about Democrats and Republicans? And it's just disgusting. What kind of people are we, and who have we become as a nation when we cannot stop and focus on what's really important, people? What's really important? It is life. It is soul. Let me tell you something. Do you know what it's like to see someone sitting outside of their home because the power is out, because they've been struck by the hurricane? Or do you know what it's like to have someone, or to see someone crying because their home is full of water and they know they're never ever going to be able to move back in that home again? Do you know what it's like for someone to lose their livelihood because their shrimp boat was washed up and dashed against the rocks and torn to pieces? Do you know what that's like? There are more important things than arguing about politics. There are more important things than looking at one another and looting and burning and showing hate. Why not take a look at God's word and see what's in the Bible? You see love. The first response, and we're all first responders, the first response to a double whammy hurricane and COVID-19 should be love. Now, I know church groups are there and the Red Cross is there, but what about you? What are you doing to eliminate the kind of hate that exists in our society, the kind of venom that's being spread between Democrats and Republicans, when we have a group of people who are suffering, a group of people who truly believe that they've been forgotten? Let me share something with you. You know what's important to Jesus? This right here is important to Jesus. I'm going to read this and I'm going to let it speak for itself. I don't have to say much. Now, I know I'm a little emotional about this because I saw it with my own eyes. I saw the downed trees. I saw the torn off roofs. I saw the crushed shopping centers. I saw people sitting outside in the heat because they have no electricity. I saw the food shortages. And I saw hardworking first responder people who cared enough to try to do something, but there's not enough being done. The media has ignored it. And we as people living in other states have ignored it. We're not paying attention to our brothers and sisters, which is what Jesus tells us to do in the first place. Listen to this, and I'm going to let it stand for itself. Jesus says, "Come, you who are blessed by my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundation of the world." Why, Jesus? "For I was hungry, you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger, you took me in. I was naked, you clothed me. I was sick, you took care of me. I was in prison, and you visited me." The righteous said, "When did we do all these things? Feed you, give you drink." He says, when you see a stranger and you take him in, or without clothes, when you see the sick or in prison and visit you. And here's what the king said, "I assure you, whatever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did it for me." Let me repeat that. Jesus said, whenever you did for one of the least of these brothers of mine, you did for me. Let me share something with you, media. Let me share something with you, states. Let me share something with you, people who are selfish, people who are looting. Let me share something with you, Democrats, Republicans. Jesus says the most important thing is that when you see your brother down, when you see your brother out, when you see your brother in trouble, when you see your brother hungry, when you see your brother thirsty, when you see your brother in need, when you see your brother needing help and reaching out amidst a pandemic, amidst destruction like I've seen in South Louisiana, Lake Charles and Cameroon and Lafayette, Cameron and Lafayette and Eunice and Iowa and Jennings. When I see places like that, when you see opportunities like that, Jesus said, when you do it to the least of the brethren, when you do it to the least of these, you do it to me. How much compassion are you showing? Are you all wrapped up in CNN and Fox and opinions and thoughts and Democratic commercials and Republican commercials? Are you too wrapped up that you can't see what's most important here? Jesus says what is important is the people in South Louisiana who are suffering and forgotten by the news media, who are suffering and in need of us to reach out to them. Jesus said, when you did for one of the least of these brethren, you did it for me. They're hungry. They're thirsty. They've lost their home. Some of them are sick. Some of them have no money. Some of them have no means to return to the life that they once had, ever how meager and humble it was. What are you going to do about it? In your opulence, in your blessing, in your prosperity, what are you going to do about it? Jesus said, give them something. Help them, whether it's drink, thirst, food, clothing. All of those qualify in South Louisiana. Where are you, America? Are you so wrapped up in politics that you can't see people? Are you so wrapped up in selfishness that you can't see the needs of your brother and sister? Jesus calls us to care. Do you care? The Morning Touch is brought to you by the FSBC in Glendale for the desire to give you something to think about today. Are we doing the will of Jesus? Are we reaching out to those in Southwest Louisiana who need our help? God bless you and keep you, and I hope that this motivates you to take a look. Jesus says, if you've done it to the least of the brothers, you've done it unto me. Let's do something to help those people that are in need. See you next time.